What's up, guys? My name is Graham, otherwise known as Graham GSM Matthews. I am using this video blog entitled WrestleRant to run down my weekly rants about pro wrestling, including WWE and TNA and possibly some indie events along the way. These will include rumors, recaps, news, all that kind of stuff. After seeing the YouTube accounts of Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Daniel Bryan, Zack Ryder, JBL, decided to make my own as well. You can follow me on Twitter at save_us_GSM, and you can let me just tell you a little about myself as well. I've been a wrestling fan since April 2008. Huge fan of William Regal, CM Punk, Edge, Chris Jericho, and in TNA, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, the entire Fortune faction, and Kurt Angle. Let's see. As well, I'm a Bleacher Report featured columnist. Been writing for Bleacher Report since May 2010. Been writing since October 2008 for the WWE Universe. It is now defunct. And let's get down to business. Let's see. Last night's Raw was a predictable edition nonetheless, since it wasn't as great as last week, but wasn't as boring as 2 weeks ago, seeing that we all saw the main event of SummerSlam coming between the Unification WWE Championship match between CM Punk and John Cena. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to outlast their 30-minute classic they had at Money in the Bank, and it's also unpredictable to cast a winner for that one, because we could all see CM Punk coming out again as the WWE Champion, and he could be pulling another thing from Ring of Honor. When he was back in Ring of Honor, he had a string of posts saying that he was going to be leaving Ring of Honor with the ROH Championship. And when he did win the ROH Championship, he signed an extension deal for another couple months. So I have a feeling that's another thing that he's going to be doing in WWE as well. So I see him going over with the championship at SummerSlam against John Cena. Including Alberto Del Rio, I don't think he's going to be cashing in the Money in the Bank anytime soon. There were plans to have him cash in the fall, but I don't see him cashing in at SummerSlam. After what happened last night on Raw, I see him probably beginning a mini feud with Kofi Kingston, which is something that we saw back on SmackDown, but the Raw writers expect us to forget about that. But still, they create awesome matches nonetheless. They have great chemistry. They can be feuding over the briefcase, while Daniel Bryan and Wade Barrett feud over the SmackDown Money in the Bank briefcase over on SmackDown. Also on tap for SummerSlam, John Morrison and R-Truth, a rivalry that has been brewing since April this year, since John Morrison has returned from injury. I don't think it was the smartest idea for having to be pinned last night in the tag team match. I mean, I understand the logic in R-Truth and The Miz getting heat going to SummerSlam, going to their respective matches. I'm all for that. I'm a big fan of both of them. But I don't think it was a smart idea to have Morrison being pinned after he was just pinned last Friday on SmackDown against World Heavyweight Champion Christian. Not the best idea in order to get him some fanfare if he's going to be going in the main event anytime soon. We also saw the debut of a new angle between Dolph Ziggler and Alex Riley, presumably over the United States Championship. I'm all for that as well. Dolph Ziggler, huge fan of Alex Riley as well. They could probably produce some good matches. They're both starting to get used to on the mic. They had a good promo last night to start to build to that. I don't know if they're going to have a match at SummerSlam, but hopefully down the line, possibly at Night of Champions, maybe, the pay-per-view in September. What else here? We got Jim Ross returning to commentary. That is an excellent idea. I basically marked out when he returned last week to commentary. I'm not a huge fan of the three-man booth between Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and Jim Ross, because Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are the best commentating team there is and ever will be. Adding Michael Cole into that, the heelish commentator, I don't think was the smartest idea. It kind of takes the focus off of the matches when they're calling it. Michael Cole still taking the lead position in the announce team still doesn't make sense to me, because Jim Ross is probably the best commentator there is in WWE today, so I would rather have him take the chief commentating role. Let's see, the commentating team on SmackDown with Booker T and Josh Matthews. I am really, really pushing for, after NXT is done, to see William Regal take Josh Matthews or Booker T's spot on commentary on SmackDown, and have Booker T go back to in-ring competition, even though he doesn't like the schedule. Booker T, if you can tell, is probably one of the most hilarious commentators there are in commentary. Not because of his humor, but probably because of his constant mistakes with Josh Matthews and Michael Cole. Because it is creating some huge confusion nonetheless. And William Regal has been improving immensely in NXT, creating some comedy and also stating the facts of some things that he was also been known for, and is one of the underrated wrestlers and commentators in WWE today. Still waiting for him to make his SmackDown debut nonetheless. Zack Ryder, my next topic. We saw Zack Ryder last week after many months of ranting and posting on his video blog, The True Long Island Story, also on YouTube. We saw him last week defeat Michael Cole in less than a 30-second match, which I guess is the best way to help get him over. But then the next night on the SmackDown tapings, we saw him take a new role as Teddy Long's new assistant on SmackDown. That I don't think was the best idea to have him get over, as that role doesn't really fit him all that much. I mean, I don't really. Those two have awesome chemistry nonetheless, and could create some great matches over the United States Championship that is losing prestige because of the lack of defenses for Dolph Ziggler. Let's see here. Christian and Randy Orton on Friday Night SmackDown. When I first saw this feud transpire a couple months ago on May, it was a dream feud that I've been waiting to see for years since Christian's re-debut in the WWE 2 years ago in ECW. I mean, the angle at this point has already started to lose its momentum after Christian won the World Heavyweight Championship in a questionable manner at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, making him seem like a flunky heel. And with Randy Orton attacking heels by RKOing them on the table, on the announce table, in such a fashion isn't going to help him get over, isn't going to help Christian get over. I mean, if Randy Orton's supposed to be the top face of SmackDown, I don't really understand how he's supposed to use heelish tactics to help get himself over. I mean, he's already the John Cena of Friday Night SmackDown, and I really would not like to see him regain the title belt after SummerSlam. I mean, have SummerSlam be the end-all, the be-all, end-all of Christian and Randy Orton, have Christian go over clean in the no-holds-barred match, and both move on to bigger and better things. Christian can move on to a rivalry with Sheamus over the world title, or Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan's moving on to he's not cashing in until WrestleMania 28. Randy Orton can move on to a feud with Mark Henry, possibly. Wade Barrett, we've already seen that, but, that wasn't all there last year on Raw. Let's see, WrestleMania 28, as we speak of that, WrestleMania 28 is not quickly approaching, but WWE these weeks have gone by quickly. My dream matches, I've seen a lot of different rumors for WrestleMania 28. I've heard that that people do not have faith in Daniel Bryan for cashing in at WrestleMania 28. That'll probably lose the briefcase before then. Not something I want to see happen. I see that he can be a huge, hate to say it, but he can be the next Chris Benoit, despite the tragedy. I see him as the next Chris Benoit winning the World Championship at WrestleMania. But the thing that I don't understand is that Cena and The Rock will happen in WrestleMania. As much as I want to see Cena versus Undertaker, Cena and Rock will happen in WrestleMania 28. Presumably over the WWE Championship. So if Cena and Rock contend for the WWE Championship, and Daniel Bryan goes for the World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown, possibly against Randy Orton or Christian, then who is the Royal Rumble going to contend for when that time comes on the road to WrestleMania? I mean, I don't want to see a triple threat over one of the World Championships. We've seen that so many times over the last couple of years. So I'd much rather see singles bouts. Well, I guess we'll see that as that unfolds as we roll into WrestleMania. Also on the WrestleMania tap, CM Punk at this point, I'm not really sure if he's going to be a part of WrestleMania 28, seeing that he has or has not signed a new extension deal under the WWE. I could see him facing Chris Jericho next year if Chris Jericho does return in time for at least a one-off match. I mean, he could be coming back in a few years from now, for all we know. He may not even come back at all at this point. CM Punk and Chris Jericho is a feud that has never been done. They have had more than a dozen matches, but it's a feud that has never been done. Chris Jericho could come back as a heel or face and have huge fanfare because what he can accomplish in the ring. I mean, he could finish up his feud with Randy Orton that he left off with when he left last October. But CM Punk and Chris Jericho would be off the charts for next year. Chris Jericho versus Undertaker would also be an awesome match to finish off the streak, as Undertaker I don't think will be seen anytime soon until WrestleMania, especially after Jericho's comments last night on Twitter towards CM Punk. That is something that will be controversial nonetheless, and I want to see something happen next with Chris Jericho and Punk. Jericho and Miz is something that I would also love to see. What else? Christian versus Daniel Bryan is the World Heavyweight Championship match I would love to see unfold. CM Punk versus Triple H is also another huge possibility. I see the best route is for CM Punk to turn tweener in a way, much like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and to take on the heel Triple H come WrestleMania 28. I mean, I'm not sure if they can stretch the rivalry for that long, seeing it's SummerSlam right now, and they're feuding right now. I'm not seeing if they can stretch it that long until WrestleMania 28. Other random topics. The new Nexus officially died last night. I just hate calling it the new Nexus. I'm just going to call it Nexus. Last night, David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy during their tag team match did not come out with the Nexus armbands, did not come out with any Nexus logos, Titantrons, themes, whatever. I mean, by this point, it's officially dead. I'm really, really hoping for and anticipating a title change for whoever takes the titles from Otunga and McGillicuddy. I don't care if it's Ryder and Hawkins, Ryder and Santino, the Usos. I mean, just get the titles off Otunga and McGillicuddy. They are horrible, horrible champions. They rarely ever defend their championships. I can only recall one time that they've defended their titles against the Usos this past Friday night on SmackDown since they won the titles in May. Otunga is boring in the ring, and McGillicuddy is boring on the mic. I mean, both of them are a boring tag team. They can't wrestle. McGillicuddy can wrestle, but he isn't using his father's name for some reason. I mean, he wants to distance himself from him, which is a little weird, because I think if he used his own father's name, he could be so much a bigger star, maybe a future Intercontinental Champion. But at this point, I really would like to see them lose the tag titles and move on to bigger things, or go back to improve in FCW. Also, Mason Ryan is injured. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Mason Ryan. He's a Batista lookalike at this point. I mean, nobody likes him. He can't wrestle. He can't talk, unlike the tag team of McGillicuddy and Otunga. I mean, it's a good thing that he should just stay in FCW for the meantime. And as for CM Punk has totally distanced himself from the new Nexus in the last couple of weeks. And by this point, the Nexus is officially dead, which is something that I never wanted to see, but seeing that they aren't using We Are One anymore, I mean, I guess I'm sorry for taking up 22 minutes of your time. I mean, this is all WrestleRanting. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another edition. It just depends on the feedback. I'd appreciate your feedback in the comments below. And as well, stay tuned for future episodes. And also, as I said before, follow me on Twitter at save_us_GSM. And also visit my website at nexterrawrestling.weebly.com for more updates and news and rumors on WWE and TNA. I will get to TNA in my next broadcast if I do hold one. Also visit my Bleacher Report profile that you can visit on my website at nexterrawrestling.weebly.com. And that is GSM signing out, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Thank you, and GSM out.